Coming up next on Functional Moms Podcast. Why is weight loss so hard after 40?
And even harder after 50, FYI.
You look great, but no, it is definitely, it's aging. I think our metabolism begins to slow down. But from the clients I've seen, I'm not the only one that has done a yo-yo diet for years and years. I think it's the chronic under eating, thinking like eat less fat, less. And I think a lot of that is less protein as well, just because you're eating so little calories. And what happens is over time, we start to lose muscle. It's actually very hard to lose fat, at least for me, and a lot of women I know, but it's very easy to lose muscle. I feel like I don't exercise for 3 days and I'm like, wow, I'm winded after that workout on the fourth day. Your body starts to adapt to losing muscle. And a byproduct of that is that your metabolism slows down. So if you're not focusing on the protein, you're likely not stabilizing and preserving your lean muscle, and that can cause a huge metabolic shift, downward shift.
Welcome to Functional Moms Podcast, lifestyle medicine for women over 40. Let's age on our own terms. This episode is for you if you're struggling with weight loss during perimenopause and postmenopause. We are going to learn a real food framework that's helped thousands of women lose weight, balance hormones, and stop starting over.
Our guest today is Courtney Kassis, a registered dietitian, twin mom, and creator of the 90-30-50 method. After struggling with Hashimoto's and feeling stuck despite doing everything right, she stopped obsessing over calories and started fueling her body with nutrients that support metabolism and fat burning.
Courtney's method helped her lose 55 pounds postpartum, put her autoimmune symptoms into remission, and now she teaches thousands of women how to break free from diet culture and finally feel strong, energized, and in control.
Thank you so much for coming on the Functional Moms Podcast, Courtney. We
Yes.
would love to start by hearing your personal weight loss journey.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me. This is my first podcast, so I'm super excited.
Awesome.
But yeah, my weight loss story, I was diagnosed at a very young age with hypothyroidism at 10 years old. And I wasn't really told what that meant for my metabolism, my body, just kind of given the medication and sent off for the next year. But that being said, weight loss felt like always something that I had to chase. Growing up in the 2000s too, it was very much diet culture. It was, I think my mom was on Jenny Craig one week. Weight Watchers probably going to get mad that I'm saying this, but Weight Watchers the next week, Atkins. I mean, I was exposed to every single diet and I couldn't figure out how to lose weight myself. And that really led me to want to become a dietitian. I learned the typical advice of eat less, move more, and I truly did it all. I was like, okay, I got to dial in my calories. I've got to start walking to class. So I went to Penn State. So I was walking over 3 miles every day to class, plus going to the gym, plus, 1,200 calories, and I still couldn't lose weight. Went on to get my master's degree in nutrition diagnostics. And that's truly when I started learning that nutrients, the micronutrients, matter way more than calories itself. Cut to postpartum with twins. I was in a complete thyroid flare, definitely couldn't lose weight. I was inflamed. And I knew something needed to change. So I actually started my 90-30-50 method.
Very cool. So, how did you know, first of all, like that seems really young to have a thyroid issue at 10? How would you
Yeah.
even know that's what you had?
So it was a lot of cycle imbalances. So I was getting my cycle every other week. They were heavy. They were, yeah, really abnormal. So we went to the doctor. They wanted to put me on birth control, but I was so vain. I was like, well, that's going to make me gain weight. And they were like, well, let's check your thyroid. So that's when they checked my thyroid and they realized it was slow, hypothyroid. They put me on the thyroid medication. And for the most part, it did take care of the cycle issue pretty much 100%.
And when you say avoid medication, is that like a Synthroid or something? Or
Yeah. Yep. Synthroid. That
okay.
levothyroxine. Yep.
Okay. Because, yeah, so many of our listeners have thyroid issues and so many people in general. I mean, I feel like
Yeah.
every other person I talk to is suffering from something. What do you have any reasons like why perhaps it's so common?
I mean, mine was genetic. I had it on both sides, but I mean, my sister doesn't have it or anything. So I think it's a little bit of genetics. I think it's a lot of environmental things. I mean, not even we know about really, but at least I definitely noticed too, it's being talked about more. And yeah, people are just kind of getting to the root cause of a lot of their symptoms with that diagnosis now.
Absolutely. So we're
Mhm.
excited to hear what is the 90-30-50 method?
Yeah, how did you come up with the 90-30-50 method?
So I was listening to a couple of your podcasts, and I know you've talked about Gabrielle Lyons. Have you ever had her
Mhm.
on the
We
podcast?
have not had her on, but yes,
Okay.
we have referred to her.
So she's obviously protein forward, but I really took from her is 90 grams is the minimum your body needs to maintain your muscle and actually grow and synthesize muscle. So that's where that 90 came from.
Okay.
And a lot of times when you're struggling with weight loss, and that focus is calories and restricting calories, we're often not even hitting that 90 grams of protein. So that's where that 90 came. So the 90-30-50 method is 90 grams of protein, 30 grams of fiber, and 50 grams of healthy fats minimum a day. So the 30 is the fiber, and it's a little bit more than what's recommended by the dietary allowance. And then the 50 grams of healthy fat is really necessary just to keep your blood sugar stable, to keep inflammation down, and to make food taste good too.
That's a good point. And it's funny. So we've done a lot of different episodes on weight loss. So much of our audience struggles with that. Raquel and I too, as we age, have struggled like keeping our weight down. It really wants to creep up as you get older. And so the protein has been a big message. Like, I mean,
Right.
but we've heard kind of all different levels. Like some people are saying you need to eat your body weight in protein. Some
Yep.
people are saying eat your goal weight.
Right.
So you're saying a minimum of 90, but you might want to be higher. Would that depend?
Exactly. Yep. So I'm kind of in the realm too, like 1 pound per your goal of body weight. But for some women, that can still like 130, 140 grams may not be attainable yet if they're eating only 60 grams. So I really like to say, this is your minimum. Anything exceeding that is probably okay. You don't want to go overboard, but yeah, 90 gram has to be your minimum. Start with that first, not
Okay.
to get overwhelmed by it and go up by there.
It's a good point because if you're not tracking your protein, you would have
Yeah.
no idea, and you're right, probably most people are barely hitting 90, like, if you're not really working at it.
Yeah, and is this 90-30-50 method by, like, 3 times, like, each meal?
No, so that's each day. Each day you're hitting your 90 grams of protein, 30 grams of fiber each day, and 50 grams of healthy fats or more each day.
And so for fiber, usually they say 25 grams for
Yes.
women. So but you're
Mhm.
saying a little higher. How come?
I'm saying higher because 30 grams, really, if you dive into the research, that's kind of the sweet spot for gut microbiome and honestly to help our detox processes. So I think detox is kind of a buzzword, but with 30 grams of fiber, your body is able to naturally detoxify. It supports the liver, it supports your gallbladder, it supports your entire digestive tract. And then if you fall short a little bit, you're kind of still in that range too. So it's not a perfect you don't have to be perfect with it, but if those are your goals that you're striving towards, you'll be in a good place.
Yes, and that's something we noticed as we bumped up our protein, it was harder to get the fiber in.
Yes.
So that's helpful to track that in conjunction with your protein because
Yes.
I know for myself, like, you think vegetables have a lot of fiber, but they don't all have a ton. Like, you have to eat a
Right.
lot of leafy greens to get it really up.
Yep, I know. And you have to find like nuts and seeds and, cruciferous veggies. And raspberries. Berries are a big one. They have a ton. But yeah, the things that we've been told have a ton of fiber and you're eating every day, they don't. And then you're sitting at maybe like 9, 10 grams of fiber for the day, and your metabolism can't do what it needs to do with that.
Okay, so we wanna
Wow.
focus on that to detoxify our body and help our feed our microbiome,
Right. Yep.
which will help. Okay, and that will help with our metabolism too?
Yeah, absolutely. Like studies show, I don't know if you've ever heard of, oh, I can't think of the word, but when they kind of take the gut microbes from a healthy person and they put them into a person with diabetes, type 2 diabetes, they can actually help to reverse type 2 diabetes with like a different
Wow.
microbiome. So that's how much the bacteria in our digestive tract have on our metabolic function.
I have heard that, like, obese people have different microbiomes than someone that
Mhm.
maybe is naturally thin.
Yes. Yep.
Interesting.
Forgetting what that's called, but
Like a fecal transplant or something? Is that what it be? Okay,
yes,
okay.
yes. I'm thinking of like swap, like that was the
Yeah.
word I was going for, but exactly, a fecal
The gut
transplant.
swap.
Gut swap.
You know they have the wife swap show?
Yeah.
The
Yeah, yeah,
gut
You're like,
yeah.
"I
swap.
want that gut. It looks
That's a
better."
perfect idea. Exactly. That's funny. But yeah, it's so, so powerful.
Okay.
And the 50 is for fat.
Yes. Let's say it's like a 1,500 calorie diet, which is where many women sit. And that's a slight deficit for most. I would say 1,400 to 1,600. So studies show 25 to 30 5% of calories should be coming from anti-inflammatory fats, your omega-3s, your monounsaturated fats, and that's where the 50 grams comes from.
Okay.
And so, can
Mhm.
you tell us what kind of fats we're looking at? What kind of foods we'll be eating?
Yes. So for fats, you're looking at olive oil, coconut oil, avocados, avocado oil, nuts and seeds like natural peanut butter and almond butter. Cheese can even be a good healthy fat, and then fatty fish. So, like your salmon and things like that.
Okay, and so that would be different than because there's a lot of, like, controversy with seed oils and things like that.
Hmm.
Those are what you more see in processed food, I guess, too. So what are your thoughts on that? Like, should we be avoiding seed oils?
Yeah, that's such a great question. Like, because I really emphasize whole foods first. So, by process of elimination, you're kind of weeding those seed oils out. Like you said, there are a lot of processed food, the soybean oil, the trans fats are a definite, absolutely not. But seed oils, I mean, there's so much conflicting information. But I just say, yeah, if you're eating a whole food, it doesn't have seed oils in it anyway. Most of them with processing do become pro inflammatory. So, just sticking to, grass fed butter, ghee, olive oil, avocado oil, and you should be good to go.
Excellent.
That's a good point. Yeah, because I think that is confusing information, and
Yeah.
it's funny, like, one time I talked about this once, I think, like, I bought these meatballs from the store that were pre-made that were, like, grass-fed, and I thought, "Oh, this is so healthy."
Yeah.
Then I read in the package, there's soybean oil in it, and I'm
I
like,
know.
if I made my own meatballs at home, I would never, like, grab the soy oil and pour some in,
Exactly,
like, you wouldn't do that.
exactly. Like, it's just not something I'm pulling off the shelf, you know?
No.
But I also, like, sometimes I'll just be eating snacks that are obviously a little bit processed, and I'll look and I'll be like, "Okay, like, that's a little canola oil in it." Like, I think if I'm sticking to 70, 80, 90% whole foods, it's okay,
Yeah. So you're gonna
hopefully.
solve the problem by
Right.
sticking to whole foods. You're not gonna be
Yes.
overconsuming them.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not an
Yep.
all or nothing mindset, but you're doing more of what is right than what is wrong.
Absolutely. Yep.
So why is weight loss so hard after 40?
Yeah.
And even harder after 50,
Oh my
FYI.
god, you look great. But no, it is. I mean, definitely it's aging. I think our metabolism begins to slow down. But, from the clients I've seen, I'm not the only one that has done a yo-yo diet for years and years, I think it's the chronic under eating, thinking like eat less, less fat, less, less, less. And I think, like I've mentioned earlier, I think a lot of that is less protein as well, just because you're eating so little calories. And what happens is over time, we start to lose muscle. It's actually very hard to lose fat, at least for me, and a lot of women I know, but it's very easy to lose muscle. I mean, I feel like I don't exercise for 3 days and like I'm winded after that workout on the fourth day. So your body starts to adapt to losing muscle. And a byproduct of that is that your metabolism slows down. So if you're not focusing on the protein, you're likely not stabilizing and preserving your lean muscle. And that can cause a huge metabolic shift, downward shift.
Yeah.
Right. So then I guess that's why eating less and working out more doesn't seem to work because what you're saying is not eating enough, then you're losing muscle mass, and then it has a trickle down effect in affecting our metabolism. And, there's the story.
Yep, and then you go to the doctor, and then they're like, "Well, just you must not be in a calorie deficit," So then you're like, "Okay, well, try to go lower." And then you're chronically fatigued and,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a cycle.
It's true, and, like, to your point, like, once you're in your 40s, I mean, yeah, you've had, like, a lifetime of diets and going on them and off them, and like you said,
Absolutely.
probably shredding your muscle without even realizing it, just
Yep.
in your efforts to lose weight, so
Right. And then when you get to your 50s, what happens is that I think also it's the thing like of habit, like of you're a
Yeah.
creature of habit. You've been doing things in one way for so long that it's almost like ingrained in your brain. Like you think like, oh no, this is the way. Like it's just the way of life. And it's really hard to make change, even when you know the change is like benefiting you. It takes a lot of mind like
it does.
reconstructing.
You have a lot on your plate, and yeah, it's really difficult.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they're so like to your point, I remember starting on social media and I would be like, try whole foods first. Watch the sugar. Fat's okay. And people got so mad. And I'm like, I didn't even know people cared that much about food, but it's such like a triggering thing because I think people for so long thought thought they knew what they were doing or have been told one way.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's like kind of became their identity. And they're like, what do you mean I've been doing it wrong for this long? Like,
Right.
so I totally get that.
And it's
Yes.
frustrating that the research
Hmm.
keeps changing. I mean,
It
let's
is.
be honest, it's hard, and a lot of people start to just tune it out or give up because
Yeah.
they've tried everything and it's just not working.
Yep.
So, could you talk to us a little bit about balancing blood sugar and why that's important?
Oh, absolutely. I think blood sugar is often overlooked, and I think it's not the root cause, but probably one of the root causes of a lot of things we deal with, whether it's weight gain, inflammation, insulin resistance, autoimmune conditions. Blood sugar imbalances can be going on for 10 to 15 years before you would even get a diagnosis of insulin resistance or hormone imbalance or prediabetes or anything like that. And it's so important because it could be the reason for your cravings, your slow metabolism, inability to lose weight. So I'm a big advocate for always balancing your blood sugar with protein, fiber, and fat at every meal.
And so, how would we know if maybe we are having some insulin resistance or something like that?
I think a big one is, are you hungry an hour after eating? Because your meals and your blood sugar should be pretty stable for 4 to 5 hours after eating. But symptoms are that constant cravings, constant hunger, that 2 to 3 p.m. in particular, that time frame, crashing at that time could be a blood sugar drop, blood sugar instability, weight gain, inability to lose weight. A lot of clients come to me and they're like, I didn't change anything. Like, and that could definitely be hormones, but a lot of times it is their insulin is through the roof. So,
Okay. And so, at that point, you would recommend people to go get it checked?
yeah, absolutely. So, as a dietitian, I can recommend what labs based on symptoms to go ask your doctor for. Generally, like CMP, those basic panels, CMP, a cardiometabolic panel, the basic CBC can give you a good insight. But things like A1C and fasting insulin are also great to ask your doctor if you're noticing those symptoms.
Great. And what are ways, I guess, that we could balance blood sugar then? Like, give us an example maybe for our breakfast, lunch, and dinner, say.
Yeah. So breakfast, a big one is people start their day with oats. And oats alone are pretty low in protein and low in fat. So they're primarily carbs, and that breaks down into sugar. So I would say to balance your blood sugar more, add some protein powder or add a little natural peanut butter to it, or at least some 1 or 2 tablespoons of chia seeds, just to add some fiber, protein, and good healthy fats with that. Or maybe a couple hard boiled eggs. Same thing with lunch, making it protein forward, trying to get that 30 grams of protein in at breakfast, lunch, and dinner, at least two, and will help to stabilize your blood sugar, even if you have carbs at the meal. You don't have to get rid of the carbs altogether, but it's always pairing them with a protein or a fat. I used to joke that, like, people always like grab a banana or grab an apple and on the go. And my fiance would be like, oh, I need some cheese with it. But it's true because, like, that's a carb and it could cause a little spike and drop in your blood sugar. So having it with a little cheese stick or some almond butter can be a great addition.
It's funny that you say that because I noticed I wore the continuous glucose monitor, the CGM,
Mhm. Oh, cool.
and
Yep.
I learned so much about myself. And one thing, I was on a car trip and I grabbed an apple thinking that was a
Yeah.
great snack, right?
Hmm.
It's my blood sugar very high. And
Yeah.
then I noticed, like, if I eat it with almond butter, it doesn't do that. So it
Yep.
is true. It's like a different way of combining your food that you might not be thinking of unless you're
Yeah.
really, really
Intentional.
looking
Right.
intentional.
Yep.
Exactly.
And,
Yes.
Absolutely.
I just want to be the voice to maybe a listener right now that is thinking, like, oh my God, like all this counting. I mean, that means that I have to count 30 grams of protein, and 50 grams and it could seem like overwhelming, especially to a woman that maybe like me or Kristen is in the sandwich. We still, my youngest son, he's still in college. I'm still like, with my kids, but then I also have my mom. And just thinking of counting all this stuff, it may
Right.
seem overwhelming. And I think, off the top of my head, I would say, hey, listen, once you start getting just think of it as a time period thing, where maybe your counting is for a period of time so that you would understand what it looks like. And then you already know that you don't have to do it forever, is like a time period, right? Would you say that that's right? Like you would count 90 grams of protein looks like for you, what, 50 grams of fat looks like for you, or 30 grams of fiber. And then you would just rinse and repeat that, and it becomes easier.
I think that's such good advice, and I would completely agree. I think that taking maybe a week or even 3 days and just try tracking in an app just to see where you
Mm,
are. Like, if you're going through the day and then you get to the end and you're like, "Oh my gosh, 55 grams of protein, that's it for today," then you can say, "Okay, what do I need to work on?" And then it's small changes from there, but I think that's such a good call to say, like, "Let me just track for a couple days," because then it's like a light at the end of the tunnel. But
right,
there are kind of visual things that you can do too. I always say, if you're just like looking at your plate, about a quarter of that plate should be protein. So that would be like 4 to 5 ounces of an animal based protein or something like that would give you at least 30 grams of protein. But I know I definitely want it. I created this to be structure, but also give you food freedom at the same time, not something that you have to be sitting there calculating everything.
right, right, right. But yeah, but I guess if you have like a little foundation, I love that. Like what you said, like take a couple of like 3 days and just, make it, because then actually when you said that, I thought, oh, that just seemed kind of like fun, like a game, like, oh, okay. I get to do
Yeah.
this, like
Yeah.
I get to see
Yeah.
where I'm at. So that makes it a little bit easier and
I
challenging.
mean, I think personally, like, I track once in a like, sometimes, like, I don't track all the time, but, like, I'll every once in a while, maybe I won't do it for a few months, but then I'll go back to it just to
Right.
see where you're at because it's easy to kind of fall off track, and if you don't track, you kinda don't know. It's kind of and
I
that's
know.
it's really harder than you think to kinda just guess it. I mean, and I
Yeah.
feel like the younger you are, the more you can get away with it. The older you are, the more probably specific we have to be. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah. Go ahead. Were you going to say something, Rob?
I was gonna say, I mean, like you could be my daughter, Courtney. I have a 27-year-old daughter, right? And
Mm.
I'm always telling 'em, like, Taya, start doing this now. Like, I
Yeah.
think that the younger you start, because then if by the time you get to our age, just like I was saying before,
It's true, it'll be just, like, part of you, ingrained,
yeah,
yeah.
it's like,
Right.
it won't be as hard for you because you've already been living this way. I think it's harder as you get older, yeah, because of our metabolism stuff, but I think also it's because of our mindsets and, how we've been living for so long. Change is hard even when you know it's the right thing. So I think I would always encourage, my young women out there to start doing this shit now.
Okay, great.
Yeah. So it becomes second nature, like you said, because
Yeah,
it's like I feel like I'm running on autopilot like 90% of the day where I'm just like, oh, making my breakfast and my coffee. And like it's
exactly.
just like that the protein powder goes in, the Greek yogurt with you know what I mean? And
Thank
it's just
you.
become a habit.
Yeah.
And you're right. Yeah. I mean, probably that makes it a lot easier to stick to for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I have to add, you have amazing recipes on your
Thank
yes,
you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Kristen.
like,
That's what I want
you
you
make it
wanna make your life easier, just go
Just
on her
just
her
follow
Insta.
Courtney on
Yeah,
thank you so
Instagram, like, for
much.
sure, because
yeah,
you have so many great recipes. In fact, I will share that my mom is in her 70s, and she
yeah,
bought one of your recipe packs because yes,
yeah,
because she found it just really easy. Like, she was trying to
Yeah.
bump up her protein, especially for with trying to gain muscle at her age in her 70s, and so
Absolutely. Good for her.
it's great that you have these little things because like you said, it can become like second nature, like you're just adding a little protein to your coffee, whatever, your smoothie, all those things. It's
Right.
really helpful.
Oh, yep, yep. That's so
It
awesome.
makes it easier.
Yes. Yep.
Oh, go ahead.
What do you think about fasting?
Fasting, I like fasting. I follow a lot of Dr. Mindy Pell's Fast Like a Woman,
Oh,
I believe is
yeah.
her book. And I go with that. It's not all or nothing with fasting either. I tell clients, if it works for you and your schedule, do it. There's a lot of benefits. I think everybody should at least be doing a 12-hour fast, most days, right? So stopping at 7 o'clock and not eating breakfast again till 7 a.m. And it sounds like, a no brainer, but there are a lot of people who maybe take that last bite of something sweet at like 10 o'clock, go to sleep, wake up at 6 for work, eat at 6:30. So that's not even a good 12 hours without food. But I think that that should be a goal for most people. And then from there, typically, if it's not the week before my cycle, I like to do like a 14, 15-hour fast, and keeping it light. And that works for my clients too, for the most part. Just something that effortlessly kind of fits into your lifestyle. That's what I recommend.
Yeah, I think that it really helped as you age, like, for me at least. Like, at first, I thought in my early 40s, I did a lot of fasting. I thought it helped
Yes.
a lot. I will
Yeah.
say it started to backfire on me, but I think I was overdoing it. So I would
Yeah.
just caution people, if they struggle with that, they might wanna think about like, my hair even was, like, kinda falling out, but I think I was going too low carb and fasting too much.
Yeah, like, I feel like sometimes with certain certain people, it's like, oh, well, 12 felt good. Now 15 feels great. Now let me try to push it to 18. Let me try it. And so it's like, it doesn't need to be more is not better at all when it comes to fasting.
And if your feeding window gets so small, you can't get all
Mhm.
that protein in because you're only
Right.
eating, especially like some people do the 1 meal a day or whatever, but it's pretty
Right.
hard to get all your nutrients in.
Right. And you could lose weight, but it could be coming from muscle. And I think that's its own problem.
Right. Should we eat before working out?
The studies show it should be 6 hours really between before your workout. Like, so for instance, I think you should eat and then you have to eat again if you get a workout in within a 6 hour window. So, in my opinion, no, like you need to get 20 grams of protein before you work out or anything. I think if you're hungry before, it can definitely help you with endurance and getting through the workout, but I don't think it's always necessary.
Okay.
Excellent.
Yeah, we've heard mixed things on that, and I mean, again, it's so individualized, I feel like,
Yeah.
too, whatever makes you
Yeah.
feel good.
And I try to
Yeah.
listen to my body, it's like
Yeah.
sometimes, it's early, it's super early, I just don't feel like eating, and I'll just work out, and then I eat something great, like, after, and that works for me, and then other times, I'm like, "Man, I really feel hungry, and I am gonna be working out," so then I eat,
Yeah,
just like,
kinda
whatever,
common sense.
It really is that simple. I know.
you know?
It is. I know. And I always feel like I have to give like, oh yeah, you should definitely have like 10 grams of protein. And it's really like, no, like if you're hungry, you should probably eat before so you can get through the workout. But if
Yeah,
you're not, you're good to go.
yeah,
S-
that's how
But
I feel.
fuel
Great,
after. Fueling after is
great, that
important.
makes it
Yeah.
easier.
Yeah,
What
exactly.
what about high protein options for vegans? We get a lot of questions about this.
Oh, yeah, we get a lot of questions about this.
I do too. Yep. Yep. Especially with the 90-30-50 method. They're like, well, how would a vegan do this? And so, I mean, I always do recommend animal proteins. I think they're the most bioavailable. But yeah, obviously for vegans, we need alternate options. So things like tofu, tempeh, beans, chickpeas, edamame, and having like a high quality vegan protein powder on hand, I would say is a good one too.
Do you have any that you recommend that you know of?
The plant-based option, I like Truvani. That's one that I like taste-wise too. Another one is KOS.
Yes, okay.
But yeah, they're kinda hard to find. Do you guys have good ones?
No, we actually just got sent a new one
Yeah, I was just
called
gonna say,
Earth
Kristen, you
Gym.
got the chimp.
I do in fact,
Oh, it's right here.
I looked at the
Oh,
ingredients actually, it's called Earth Chimp, and it
cool.
was yeah, it was pretty clean ingredients. It had 20 grams of protein and 5 grams of fiber, which I thought was
Oh,
pretty
that's great.
nice.
Yep.
So, yeah, so we're excited to try that out.
Right.
Yeah, yeah,
But,
you'll have to let me know.
Didn't you try it, Kristen?
I mean, I tried it in a smoothie, yeah.
Right.
I
Yeah.
I would like to experiment more with it. Like, I really like this is not a vegan one, but Santa Cruz Paleo, I think the brand is. They have a
Okay.
really nice whey one, and I like to put a scoop of that in my Greek yogurt, and
Yep.
that gives you such a great, like, protein hit, and my thing
Yep.
now is I use basil seeds. Do you use those at all?
I used to use them. Did you just start using them?
Not that long ago, and
Okay.
there's, like, 15 grams of fiber in them, right? Like, it's a l so for me, like, if I'm really trying to make it simple and I don't really
Mhm.
wanna think too much about my because I was really working on my fiber, I was not getting enough, and I have a lot of gut health issues, so I needed to really
Okay.
improve my gut health. So for me, that protein bowl with the basil just, like, hit everything good for me. I've got, like, 40 grams of protein, and then I've got,
Mhm.
like, my 15 grams fiber.
Oh, yeah, that sounds perfect.
I just wanna circle back to the high protein options for
Yes.
vegans, okay? Because we kind of hit it on it a little bit, but just for our because we do get this question a lot about vegans, but Kristen, that Chim protein powder, that's a vegan, right? That's why we're talking about it, right? Isn't that a
No, it is vegan. Yeah, it's a vegan it has 20 grams of protein, it's vegan.
right, and you made a smoothie with it. I think you added stuff to it and stuff, right?
I did. I personally, I don't love protein powders just plain with water. I know the gym bros all do that.
Right, you're just
Yeah.
not that hardcore, but how did it taste, Kristen? Because I know you don't
With almond milk and peanut butter and a banana, I liked it. I thought it was good.
Yeah.
and so that
It's a
still
perfect
kept
combo.
the vegan theme to it, right? Because you didn't
Yeah, no, I didn't add any animal protein to it. Nope.
right, so, alright, I just wanna so there's and you said it tasted good, and I know it's non-GMO.
Oh, yeah, I would totally recommend it if some yeah, for me, like,
Right,
I would use it, but it wouldn't be the only thing I use because I eat animal products, but yeah.
Right.
right, but it's a so
I'm curious though, I would like to put it in yogurt and see how it tasted.
I know. I was gonna say you do need like a one with really good texture to sneak it into yogurt, I feel like. And
You
whey
gotta really
proteins,
stir it.
yeah. Whey I feel like is better texture wise, but if yeah, I've noticed Truvani's a good one. So if that one's the Earth Chimp one's good too, that'd be a great vegan option.
All right, so we just were able to give at least our vegan listeners 3 options. It was the chimp, the,
Chobani.
chobani,
Chobani.
and K what was it?
Oh, KOS. Yep.
I'd never heard of KOS.
AOS. I haven't tried that one.
That one's probably, in my opinion, like, the best tasting one. I get it on
Okay.
Amazon.
Oh, cool. All right.
All right. Good to know.
Mhm.
And then actually, what are your favorite non-vegan options, like protein powders?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, protein powders. Yeah, so Gainful, I really like their whey protein. It's unflavored, it's got, like, literally nothing in it. Another one is Ancient Nutrition. Those 2 are probably my favorites. Jocko is another good one that I like too, their whey.
Is it Jocko, our dude that has the podcast and all that, that he was in the military? That Jocko?
Yes,
I
yes,
love that dude.
yeah. Yeah, I know, he's awesome. I
Yeah,
had their, sometimes we'll do their pre-made shakes too,
yeah,
which come
yeah.
with some ingredients I don't love, but if you
Right.
can't if you're on the go, they're perfect.
Gotcha. Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
So, what are your thoughts on drinking alcohol and trying to lose weight?
So that one's tough. That's a really good question because I think I'm on day 32 of going alcohol free just because, a lot of the times it's not only the alcohol, it's kind of what you eat when you're drinking alcohol. So fat or alcohol definitely disrupts fat metabolism. And so it makes it harder for your body to burn fat because it's prioritizing the alcohol and things like that. But that being said, I've lost weight, for years with incorporating it, obviously moderating it and things like that. But it's not all or nothing with that either. That's something that I just recently decided to because everything, like the aftermath of alcohol with the anxiety and
Right.
sluggishness and bloating. So if you can incorporate it and it doesn't really impact your goals and, hitting your goals, I think that it's totally fine to incorporate.
Mhm.
Right. It's what happens when you get drunk that what you start eating.
Like pizza and
Everything goes out the window. I mean,
Right?
it didn't even take much. It was one sip. It was
I
like, the gateway. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, gotta pull back just, a little
Yeah,
bit here.
yeah, yeah. You
Oh,
get that little buzz
and
and you start snacking.
and there's so many
yeah.
good non-alcoholic options now, which is cool. Like, it's
Yes.
getting better and better.
Yes. Yep. Recess. I love the brand like Recess, Hi-O. I've been kind of
Oh, I
playing
like
around with
Hi-O,
those
yeah.
too.
Mhm.
Yeah. And really it is sometimes it's just like the ritual of just like having it on a sunny like Friday evening and stuff like that. And then, you can still stick to your goals. So
Yeah,
and this summer
absolutely.
I was like, we need to reset here.
Mhm.
So that's why.
That's really cool. So, being mindful of our time today, Courtney, what are 2 simple things that we can do today to lose weight and age strong?
Love that. So, one, I would say starting with your breakfast. Breakfast truly is the most important meal, but it doesn't have to be at 6 a.m. It could be whenever you're breaking your fast. But make sure it has 30 to 50 grams of protein, which sounds like a lot, but that really sets the tone for your blood sugar, your metabolism, everything, your hormones throughout the entire day. So, that would be number one. I do say hitting your protein literally helps you age backwards. And number two would be focusing on consistency over willpower. So having at least something in place, whether it's, having 3 proteins prepped for the week, not full blown meals, but maybe just 3 proteins prepped, or maybe some snacks portioned and ready to go, or maybe it's filling your water up every morning just to make sure you're hydrated. So something that you can do, 1 or 2 things you can do to make your day easier and to stay consistent, not perfect.
Wow, that's great advice.
I love that. Consistency is so important. It's
Mhm.
so
So
overlooked.
important. Nobody's perfect on their
Yep.
Yeah,
journey at all. You just gotta get back on it.
Love that.
absolutely.
I want everyone to know you can connect with Courtney on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Her handle is at dietitian with twins. And I think I mentioned earlier, but you have so many amazing recipes and like food plans that would be so helpful for people. So you should definitely check that out. It
Absolutely.
makes it easy.
Yeah,
Macro counting
Yes.
easy.
Plan's done for you, following the 90-30-50 method. You just enroll and eat the food. So
Awesome.
exactly. I'm jumping
yep.
on that.
So cool. All right. Well,
Cool.
thank you so much for joining us today, Courtney. It was great.
Thank you both. So fun.
We need your support. If you're enjoying the show, follow, like, and subscribe. Thank you for Aging Strong with Functional Moms Podcast. The information provided in this podcast is for informational purposes only and is not intended for the purpose of diagnosing, curing, treating, or preventing any disease. We are functional medicine certified health coaches and not licensed medical professionals. The opinions and advice of guests are their own and also not considered to be medical advice. Always consult with a healthcare professional when making any healthy lifestyle changes. We would love to hear from you. Please leave a comment or review. Email us at info@functionalmoms.com. If you enjoyed this episode, please hit the subscribe button.